Hi everyone, my name is Manal Al-Fayez and you're watching From Scratch. On today's episode of From Scratch, we're making party snacks. So we're starting off by making some mini tres leches cake. We're gonna make some pico de gallo and some guacamole. So to start off, for your mini tres leches cake, what you're gonna need is some salt, baking powder, egg yolks, and separated egg whites. I whipped them up already ahead of time. You're gonna need some sugar, milk, some vanilla, and some flour. So to start off, I already pre-whisked my egg whites. Keep in mind, I separated my eggs. Egg yolks are collected in one bowl and egg whites are collected in another. Just make sure that you whip them up, making sure that no pieces of egg yolk are traced in your egg whites, otherwise they will not whip up. So to start off, what I'm gonna do is grab our sugar, put it right onto our egg yolks. Give that a nice whisk. So I want to whisk this until it turns nice and pale in color. So just like you see, it has turned into a very nice and fluffy pale color. What I'm gonna do is set my whisk aside. I'm gonna pass through my flour through this strainer right here. And the rest of my dry ingredients. So I've got baking powder as well, and salt. All right. What I have over here is some milk, which I'm gonna add our vanilla right into it. And what we're gonna start doing is folding everything together. So I've got my fluffed up egg yolks together with the sugar. I'm gonna add in the flour and start slowly folding in the flour into my egg yolk and sugar mixture. And then I'm alternating adding in liquid and dry ingredients. And this is going to ensure that you get a nice and velvety sponge cake. So folding means you're twisting around your spatula and your bowl to fold everything together. I'm dividing my flour into 3 parts and then folding it in together in 3 parts, alternating between flour and my milk. This way of folding in everything together is quite important. So what we're gonna do at the very end is pour all of this mixture right into the last amount of egg whites that you have in your bowl. And what we just did is we kind of fluffed up our mixture from a very dense mixture to a fluffy one to help reduce the amount of, let's say, deflation happening to our eggs. Being very gentle, and I'm folding the mixture just like you see. Careful not to overmix anything. That's perfect. So what we're gonna do now is pour this right into our muffin tins. Make sure that you don't overfill your muffin tin. So I have my muffin tins here greased up with some butter and then simply floured to create a non-stick layer. So once you have your batter mixed already, you want to make sure you get this in the oven as fast as possible because you might risk your batter deflating. So this is going to go into a preheated oven at 180 degrees for around 12 to 13 minutes. Welcome back everyone. The cakes are ready to pull out of the oven. They've been in here for around 13 minutes. They look beautiful and they have risen quite a lot. So what I'm gonna do is let them set aside, let them cool down, and what we're gonna do is work on the liquid that we're gonna use to soak our cakes in. So for that, what you're gonna need is some condensed milk, some evaporated milk, some cream, and vanilla. So what we're gonna do is put everything together in a bowl, get that all nice and whisked up. So everything is together in one bowl. What I'm gonna do is give that a nice whisk. And I'm actually gonna transfer it into a container that's gonna help with pouring it right onto our cakes, which is gonna be our jug right here. So this goes right into our jug. Before I start pouring this liquid right onto our cakes, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna poke holes into our cake, and this is gonna help with letting that liquid seep into our cake. So with a skewer, what you're gonna do is go in and poke some holes. What I'm gonna do next is pour in our liquid. It's fine if it seeps through, but just be very patient because what you wanna do is let this soak up and then keep on pouring again. So after a while of pouring, what I'm gonna do is go again and poke some more holes into that cake. So once you start noticing that your cakes are not soaking up any of that liquid, that means that it has had enough. So you want to stop right at this point and just set these aside and allow them to cool down completely. So I'm gonna set this aside in a cool area in my kitchen, and I'm gonna come back to them to top them off. While our tres leches cakes are resting in a cold area in our kitchen, what we're gonna do is work on our pico de gallo. And for that, what you're gonna need is some diced red onions. You wanna make sure they're very small dice. I've got some diced jalapenos, some chopped cilantro, lime juice, salt, and some diced tomatoes. You want to make sure that you remove the center of the tomato, because you don't want your pico de gallo to be too liquidy or wet. Pico de gallo is super delicious. It's actually a Mexican, I would say, condiment. You can add it on top of your tacos, you can have it as a dip. It's very delicious. So what we're gonna do is add in all of our chopped vegetables in our bowl and get everything mixed together. A quick hack for you is that pico de gallo could actually be used as the base of your guacamole. So you got some leftover pico de gallo and you're craving some guacamole, what you could do is mix the two together, your avocados and your pico, and you'll get a guacamole. So I like to have a bit extra of the cilantro. If you don't like cilantro so much and want to just add a small amount, you could go ahead and do that. So based on your liking, you could go ahead and taste your pico to see if you need some more salt or some more lime juice. Do keep in mind that tomatoes do require quite a heavy amount of salt. So once you're ready, you could transfer this to your serving plate or bowl. Our pico de gallo is ready to serve. It's always best to keep your pico de gallo to marinate together for at least half an hour. So I'm just gonna let this sit aside while we work on our guacamole. It's always best to keep it marinated. Why? Because you want all of those flavors to kind of melt together and develop. So that's exactly what we're gonna do. We're gonna work on our guacamole next. So we're gonna work on our guacamole for now. For your guacamole, what you're gonna need is some avocados, some jalapenos that are very thinly sliced and diced, red onions, cilantro, lime juice, and some salt. To start off, you're gonna grab your avocados and give them a nice smash. You wanna make sure you've got some nice ripe avocados, so it could be easier for you to smash them. Next up, I'm gonna add in some salt. and the rest of the vegetables. Just be careful with adding jalapenos. If you like a kick of heat, then add in some more. But if you're sensitive to heat, I would say just add a small touch. Some cilantro. Give that a nice mix. So this is a very basic form of a guacamole. You could go ahead and add in some tomatoes, some garlic. You could go ahead with adding that, but I'm opting for a very simple version of a guacamole. And lastly, I'm gonna add in our lime juice. So this is a really wonderful snack for parties or any type of gathering, because you could have it laying out on a table and people could come in and start eating. It's very easy to eat and it's super delicious. Just like so. A good tip to keep in mind is for you to preserve or keep your guacamole for a couple of days. What you want to do is put it in a bowl and cover it with some plastic wrap and let that plastic wrap actually touch your guacamole. That's going to extend the shelf life of your guacamole. So we have our pico and our guacamole ready. What we're gonna do is top off our tres leches and we are done. So here we have our tres leches that are nicely cooled. What's left to do is top them off with whipping cream. So I already whipped up some cream over here, and what I'm gonna add to it is some vanilla and some icing sugar. So I'm gonna go ahead and add the vanilla to start with and give that a nice whisk. Make sure your whipping cream is nice and cold to whip up quite fast. I'm gonna add in our icing sugar. You could already do this ahead of time and reserve your whipping cream in the fridge and it'll stay nice and firm. So what's finally left to do is top off our tres leches. Just like so. As you can tell, this is super easy to make at home and it's super delicious. It works perfectly as a party snack. So just to sum up everything, we made our party snacks from scratch. We made a pico de gallo, a guacamole, and some tres leches. I really hope you guys enjoyed and I'll see you guys next time on From Scratch.